This is the Mighty Manfred, and it's time for your coolest conversation. And today on the horn, I am talking to Geoff Palmer of The Connection. Connection, that's right, Portsmouth, New Hampshire's finest. How you doing, Geoff?
I'm doing excellent, Mr. Manfred. Thank you for calling me on the telephone.
Thank you for being available to talk to me. Man, tell me about the first time.
Well, the first time was originally by the Boys. And it's our fifth coolest song in the world, whether we deserve it or not, but we're very happy that Steven chose it. And we had actually been touring over in Europe, and we had just been in the van driving all day, as you know, because you go over there a lot. And we were listening to the Boys, and we're like, you know what, this would be a fun song to add into the set. So we started doing it, and the crowd over there was like totally enjoying it at most of the shows. So we had a day off in France, and our agent, we were like, oh, what are we going to do on a day off? And we were joking. We're like, let's just go into a studio. So they found this little studio in the outskirts of France, and we went there, and we recorded 3 songs that day, and First Time was one of them.
So when did you guys actually work the song up?
We worked it out at sound checks. We had all just been listening to it in the van all the time anyways, and we all grew up on that music, so we were fairly familiar with it. So we did it at sound check for 2 nights, and then did it live at shows 3 or 4 nights, and then we had the day off and we were in the studio. So we recorded a couple songs we had never had down on tape, and that was one of them.
Well, so the first time, that song, it turns up on a couple of different things. It's like a B-side, just a B-side on one vinyl thing, and then it's part of a 3-song EP. What's the best way to track the song down?
Well, for all the people that love the digital world, we originally released it ourselves just digitally, and it's called the First Time EP. Oh. And you can get that from the Connection Bandcamp site, or if you go to the Connection Official, our webpage, you can find it, or it's on Spotify or iTunes. And then later, in America, a label called King Yum Records was interested. They've put out some other records by us. So they put out a single called Don't Talk to My Baby, and they put the First Time as the B-side to it.
So now you've got quite a musician resume. I know you used to play in the Queers, and I'm betting a lot of other local bands. What got you to decide to want to be in a rock and roll band? And how did you meet Brad Marino, right? That's his last name, Marino?
Brad Marino, correct.
Well, how did you guys hook up, and why did you decide to do a rock and roll thing?
Well, both Brad and I had been in separate, more Ramones core, like the Queers and Screeching Weasel kind of pop punk bands. And we'd both done fairly good for ourselves. And then actually my girlfriend had gone to school with Brad for a long time. So then he just started kind of coming around my house, and we'd pull out records. So we were listening to like Dave Edmunds, Nick Lowe, like Rockpile, all this stuff. And we're like, why doesn't more people want to do stuff like this? And we would just sit around and pass ideas around, and we were like, let's just do a band. So we just started writing. The first song we ever wrote was Stop Talking, which ended up being on the first Connection record. Yeah. And it was really just, I think, for our mutual love of all kinds of music, but then also in the punk world, a lot of people don't appreciate a lot of other types of stuff. They just don't want to branch out of the box. And Brad and I were both on the same page. And really, like, Dave Edmunds is a huge... if there was no Dave Edmunds, there'd probably be no Connection.
So, real quick, tell me, what's the connection between the Connection and Mr. Baker?
And Mr. Baker, well, Mr. Baker used to be in the same boat playing in punk bands like Brad and I. So Kurt's punk band was called The Leftovers, and mine was called The Guts. And we were on the same record label, and we used to play together all the time. And then it was sort of the same thing as with Brad. Nobody else that we were playing with really wanted to venture out and, experience new other types of music, especially more in the rock and roll field. And so Kurt and I just had a bond. So the Leftovers broke up, and I just started playing guitar in Kurt's band, like the Kurt Baker Band, or as they're called in the underground garage, the Party Animals. I'm one of the members of the Party Animals. And Yeah, and we just did his record, and I still play with Kurt all the time and talk to him all the time. He's living over in Madrid now. He actually texted me the night that you guys met up, and he's like, I just talked to Manfred.
First of all, I got to see you play with a connection, and at some point, you got to get Mr. Baker back over here so we can see you guys play together, and also as the new Trocaderos, too, because that's with him, right?
I was just going to say, yeah, because that's me, Kurt, and Brad are the new Trocaderos.
Well, Geoff, thanks so much for taking the time to chat with me, have a coolest conversation with me. And man, you guys got so many cool songs. I want to go out with "Crawling from a Wreckage of a Saturday Night." Is that cool with you?
I would love for you to play that. That's a little push on the for Dave Edmonds right there. So yeah, go for it.
Well, let's do that because it's Friday. We're talking together on a Friday, getting set up for the weekend. And when the weekend's coming, come Saturday, we'll be crawling from the wreckage of that Saturday night.
You know it's true.